As a gamer myself, I can attest to the deeply primal rage that comes from unfortunate in-game incidents. I've broken a controller or two, but some of these people... Pull it back, bro, you're doing too much. Anyway, here's 5 incidents when gamers and gaming went terribly wrong. But first, welcome back to Creepycasettiyt, your place for horror in reality and beyond. I'm your host, D. And if this content is entertaining to you, please hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell so you'll know every time I drop another video. Also, maybe hit the share button because all of these actions really help the channel, and now we can be besties. Hey, bestie. Also, have any of you had a full-blown meltdown over a video game or even seen someone else have a huge meltdown? Let me know in the comments below. Back to the video. Number 5. Joshua Spellman, Death by Diablo 2. On December 15, 2021, Amboy, Washington man Joshua Spellman and his best friend of 26 years, Andrew Dixon, got into a heated argument via headset over an incident that occurred while the two and another man were playing a game of Diablo 2. All 3 of the men were in the same property in different dwellings. According to reports, the game room they were playing in was supposed to be password protected, however, it was not. A stranger walked in and grabbed a piece of valuable loot from under the 3 men's noses. This caused Dixon to become enraged and launch into an extended tirade of name-calling, cursing, and threats. Spellman threatened to shoot the man if he didn't calm down. When the yelling continued, Spellman grabbed a gun that was sitting next to his computer and made his way from the smaller house on the property where he resided to the main house. He fired a gunshot into the air on his way. Dixon and Spellman met in the kitchen of the main house. The argument continued for a short time between the men before Dixon closed the distance between him and Spellman. It was then that Spellman shot the man in the torso. Dixon was rushed to the hospital where he had surgery but did not recover from his injuries. When Spellman was asked by police why he had a gun next to his computer, his response was, "Why not? This is America." That statement is making my head hurt, honestly. I tried to find more info about the trial, but Google was sending me to articles with all the same info. Bail was set at $750,000. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto in real life. In another baffling case of video game related nonsense, we have a man from Grant Pass, Oregon by the name of Anthony Clark. On the evening of June 4th, 2018, Clark led Oregon police on a 40-mile chase through the cities of Ashland, Talent, and Phoenix before finally being apprehended trying to steal another car from the mobile home park he had escaped to on foot after the original car had been flipped from an officer bumping the vehicle to get Clark to stop. But here's the most insane part of the whole situation. Our buddy Anthony was hallucinating from the effects of acid and reportedly thought he was in a real-life version of Grand Theft Auto before he escaped in the initial car, a 2003 Toyota Camry that ironically enough was being towed away by the police due to an unrelated DUI. The officers were awaiting a tow truck when Clark leaped out of the passenger side of a different truck and told one of the officers standing by that he was taking the car. The keys were inconveniently for the officers still in the door. He sped off, nearly dragging the officer with him. By the end of the ordeal, Clark faced a slew of charges from 3 separate law enforcement entities. Thankfully for all involved and the citizens of Oregon, no one was injured, even though Clark managed to run over 2 traffic strips that had been set to stop him and went the wrong way down multiple streets. His list of charges include Jackson County Sheriff's Office attempting to elude officers both via vehicle on foot, DUI, unauthorized use of motor vehicle, reckless driving, reckless endangerment of another person. Ashland Police Department, reckless driving, reckless endangerment of another person, first-degree criminal mischief, attempting to elude an officer via vehicle, second-degree criminal trespassing, unlawful entry of a vehicle, and finally charges brought up by the Oregon State Police charged with recklessly endangering a person and third-degree escape. Number 3, when gotta catch 'em all goes wrong. In 2016, Russian blogger Ruslan Sokolovsky made an arguably questionable choice when he decided to film himself playing Pokemon Go in the Russian Orthodox Church. Sokolovsky had seen a news report warning people against playing the game in church as people were being fined or jailed for doing so. So he played in the church, made some remarks about religion that some religious people I'm sure weren't too thrilled about, including likening Jesus to a Pokemon. All the dead popes are rolling in their graves I tell you now. Well, the Yekaterinburg authorities did not find his viral video, which racked up millions of views during its time on YouTube, to be very cute. They locked the 22-year-old up in a pre-detention center from October of 2016 to a sentencing of May 2017. The charge of inciting religious hatred carries a sentence of up to 5 years. He was given a 3-year suspended jail term and 160 hours of compulsory community service. He was also advised not to appear in public. He reportedly stated, "I won't play Pokemon. It's already out of fashion." The judge remarked that Sokolovsky's video manifested his disrespect for society and that he intended to offend religious sentiment. The whole thing just kind of sounds like overkill to me. It doesn't really seem like it would constitute much more than a slap on the wrist or, I don't know, a fine, disorderly conduct, if you will. But Russia is much stricter than the US when it comes to its laws. Number 2, the exploding video game case. Just May 9th of this year, so a little over a month ago, an incident occurred at Staten Island, New York police station. A 25-year-old man by the name of Marcus Lugo walked into the precinct carrying a video game case. The articles don't elaborate what kind of video game case, whether it was just some generic case or if, some name brand game. He walked to within 2 feet of a lieutenant and stated that the case contained a bomb and began to count down from 5. At that point, he opened the case and nothing happened. A police report following the incident alleged Lugo falsely reported an alleged impending explosion, which did not in fact occur, causing an informant to fear for his life, serious physical injury, regular physical injury, annoyance, and alarm. I'm not really sure what was going through this guy's head, but 2 days prior to the incident, he was also arrested for hitting a coworker in the face with a broom at an Amazon facility where he worked. The man suffered lacerations to his nose, bruising to his face. His charges for that incident were assault, criminal possession of a weapon, and harassment. The man was subsequently arrested following the bomb incident and charged with falsely reporting a fire, explosion, or hazardous substance to an official, menacing, harassment, and obstruction of governmental administration. He's being held at Rikers Island with a bail for the fake bomb threat for $30,001 and $10,001 for the Amazon incident. He was also immediately released from his position with Amazon. Number 1, the murder of Lil Snoopy. On June 20th of 2013, Lil Snoopy, real name Darren Ross, an 18-year-old rapper who had just been signed to Dream Chasers, Meek Mill's recording label, had his life tragically snuffed out over a game of NBA 2K. 2 men, 36-year-old Tony Holden and 21-year-old Edric Stewart, were playing the video game, and both Snoopy and Holden had large sums of money on the outcome. Snoopy ended up winning the game at the last minute, prompting Holden and Stewart to shoot the young rapper. Snoopy was shot in the chest twice and robbed. Holden ended up turning himself in 6 days later. He was booked into the Winfield, Louisiana jail on charges of first-degree murder, armed robbery, and illegal possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. A few days later, Edric Stewart of Monroe, Louisiana, was also booked related to Lil Snoopy's murder with a charge of manslaughter. The men went to trial, and in the most disappointing outcome, neither were actually sentenced for Snoopy's murder. It turns out when Holden turned in his weapon, the bullets in his gun were not the ones that dealt the killing shot. Instead, it was Stewart's weapon that killed the rapper. Therefore, Holden was only convicted of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and given 10 years. Stewart was only convicted on the charge of illegal use of a weapon in a violent crime. Snoopy's mother remarked when asked about the upcoming documentary about Lil Snoopy that she found police's handling of the matter disrespectful to her son's legacy. They did not choose to look further into which of the men had robbed him, and had they done more during the investigation, Stewart may not have become involved in another murder case December of 2015. I'm not going to say video games made any of these people do the things that they did. People are completely responsible for their own actions and reactions. Ultimately, these people had choices to make, and they didn't make good ones. That's no one's fault but their own. I have heard arguments upon arguments on just how video games impact people's decision making, but most people aren't going to reach for a weapon when a game doesn't go their way or pop some psychedelics and take the police on a wild chase. I'm just saying. Anyway, friends, hope all is well in your world. Don't forget to tell me about your video game meltdown or ones you have seen. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you all in 2 weeks for another video. Bye!